Hey Virgos, it's Chris from Embodying Light here with your December 2017 reading. So happy holidays. I'm recording this reading at the end of November, so it will be available for you in time for the month of December. So we're kind of covering all of the holiday season during this period because I won't see you guys again for your next reading, till January of next year. So happy holidays, guys. So just a few things before we get into your reading for this month. So there are a lot of shifts and a lot of changes happening for all of us, including myself. So if you follow me over on Instagram, you may have already noticed that we have made this shift there from In the Rough Crystals to Embodying Light. So if you followed our crystals page, you'll see that it is no longer In the Rough Crystals, but it is now Embodying Light Crystals. And over on our personal page, which is more, see a lot more readings, a lot more insights, workshops, a lot of different offerings there. On that page, that was Chris_ In the Rough Crystals. It is now Embodying Light. So over on Instagram, you can follow me at Embodying Light Crystals. And you can also follow me at Embodying Light. So check out both pages. Also, we are over on Facebook. You can like our page there as Embodying Light. Now, over here on our YouTube channel, we're still In the Rough Crystals, but we will be making the shift soon to Embodying Light. So if you would like to book a personal reading, you can still do so through the email intheroughcrystals@gmail.com. We will be shifting our email very shortly to embodyinglight@gmail.com. So we'll announce that when we make that shift with the email. So stay tuned for that. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and that way you stay updated to all the new videos that are posted here. You can subscribe and make sure you click the little bell so that way you get the notification that that a new video has actually been posted. So I want to get a little bit into just the energies that we're kind of in right now and some of the upcoming energies that are coming in. So we've been in the midst of this 11/11 gateway energy. And 11/11 is a portal of ascension. It's a portal of just shifts, lots of changes, but it's also a marker that we're moving in the right direction towards our spiritual growth, our spiritual mastery. A lot of awakening energy is presented when we are working within the 11/11 energies. One of the major components of this 11/11 gateway that we're in is heart activations. So it's, this energy is forcing us to let go and release things, release layers. And I always see this like an onion, where, each peel or each outer part has a layer. And we're peeling back all of these layers and we're trying to get to the center. And the center is our soul. The center is the truth of who we are. So we're taking off the illusions. We're taking off any, beliefs, thought systems, patterns, spiritual beliefs, relationship, karmic energies that no longer serve us, that are up to be released, and we're transmuting those so that we can step more into our authenticity and we can step more into a space of five-dimensionality, which is living from our heart space, having our heart and the energies and the resonance from our heart be the expression through which we experience, and we put out our energy, our life force energy into the world. So big activations with that, where we're being shifted, and it's different for each and every person. It's different for each sign. So you can't really gauge your specific journey based upon someone else's, but there are some similar energies in play. So we also have coming up the Mercury retrograde, which begins December 3rd and ends on December 22nd, so right before Christmas. So we're currently in the pre-shadow energies of Mercury retrograde. So you'll start to see triggers come up during this period of time, because when we're in pre-shadow, it's basically giving us kind of I look at like the pre-game show, like in sports, like it's giving us a preview of like the themes and the triggers and what we're kind of going to be working with before Mercury actually goes retrograde. So just think of it like kind of like if Mercury is moving across certain constellations and stars in the sky, it's triggering certain pinpoint energies, and then it goes station. And when Mercury's station is when we generally feel the most intense energy of Mercury retrograde, not so much the actual retrograde period itself. Not to say that you won't be working through energies, but because you will. But once Mercury does go retrograde, then you're going backwards in the sky through those same stars, through the same constellations, through the same energy that you were in pre-shadow. So it's a good time to clear out, limited belief systems, patterns for past life, especially what's being highlighted is ancestral and lineage energies that have been passed down in different cycles and different bloodlines, or we have repetitive kind of patterns that are being passed along in our family bloodlines. It could be past relationships, it could be belief systems, so many different things, different for each person, but it's coming up to be cleared out so we can make room, we can step more into who we are, step more into our authenticity. And once Mercury goes direct again, I feel like, we will have a new energy to work towards. And it's important to remember that, energy is never destroyed. We just transmute it. It's like putting these things we're trying to shift that no longer serve us into the fire and allowing it to be burned away into ashes. But it's that ash is still energy, and so now it's like, what do we do with this ash? We kind of rise up like the phoenix, and that fiery energy is now changed, and we can put that energy into something else. So the question mark is, what is that something else for each and every one of you? What is it that you want to cultivate? What is coming from your heart? What do you feel called to put forth into the world? And this is the shift that we're going through, is being able to fill our lives with love and connecting with our heart to be able to also, from an outward, projection into the world, to put that same space of, authenticity and unconditional love, and have this authentic voice that we're stepping forward on a new platform of our lives, being able to give and to share with others. And we're going to see more of that expansion coming as we move into 2018, it being an 11-year, a lot of doors, a lot of possibilities for us to really build the lives that we want and really manifest that coming in 2018 for everyone. So a lot of really promising, really expansive energy that's going to be coming in. And so let's get into your reading, Virgos. So I've already kind of pulled your cards, and we're working this month with the Fountain Tarot. We're also working with Wisdom of the Hidden Realms and the Past Life Oracle. And I wanted to work with specifically Wisdom of the Hidden Realms and Past Life Oracle, just because we are in retrograde and we're kind of clearing out kind of like karmic cycles and going into some patterning. So these cards are really good for uncovering certain patterns and things like that. And I like the Fountain Tarot just because there's a lot of symbolism. I like the energy that comes from these cards. There's a lot of like geometry and shapes, and I just really like this deck. So so we are working with those if you're interested in a little bit more insight into the decks. So so let's get into your reading. So immediately when I started putting the cards into kind of like a storyline here for Virgo, the very first thing that popped out to me is inner conflict here. I feel like for Virgos, December is going to be a month of kind of shadow work. This is a time where Virgos are going to be going inside of themselves. I don't feel energy at all of kind of more or less like these are like relationship issues or kind of like outward or external events. Not to say that you won't be triggered by them, but you're being triggered by the outer events so that you can come in kind of like in an inner kind of reflective way within yourself. But I feel like for Virgos, there's a lot of like, inner conflict. And I have two cards that are kind of confirming this. I have the past life card, which is wars and battles. And then I also have from Wisdom of the Hidden Realms, the dragon, duel. And this is all about conflict. This is kind of being and the dragon's duel, and you'll see the card up on the screen there. It's like you have these two dragons, and one dragon's the green dragon, which is like this, like I feel like this inner call from the heart that's like, I don't want to be ignored anymore. So it's trying to get you to awaken, and it's like a call, like a trumpet being sounded, like you can't ignore the inner promptings of your heart anymore. But then you have kind of like this, I wouldn't even say it's like a red dragon. It's kind of like a purple dragon to me. And the purple dragon in this card is kind of like transformation. So it's like there's a need for you to transform something within yourself so that you can expand. And this is definitely expansion from the heart. But there's a conflict, and we often feel this conflict when we want to be true to ourselves, but like we tend to show up in the outside world, or we even show up within our own mainframes in an inauthentic way to kind of not deal with pain, or not deal with our inner trauma, or not to cause like conflict with others. And especially like with Virgos are very they like things to be a particular way. They like things to be set. They're very disciplined. They like order. And when things are out of order, this can definitely throw Virgos into conflict. And that's exactly what I'm feeling here. But I also feel like this is a good energy for Virgos, because it's teaching Virgos just how to kind of balance and go with the flow of things, even when things are changing and shifting and in flux, and they can't control it and have things in order. So I think this is really, really going to really be a change of energy and a change of pace for Virgos. I feel like there's going to be a lot of your belief systems, your philosophies about life, even just the way that you kind of gone about doing things for a very long time, even past life patterns here, where I feel like a lot of like defensive energy, unwillingness to kind of change. I feel like also like sometimes Virgos and unwillingness to change creates a lot of conflicts with others. It makes it where you're very hard to get through to, and it's very hard to connect with that kind of energy. So I feel like, Virgos, like from an external standpoint, your triggers on the outside may be exactly those type of situations, and they're coming up to challenge you, to really hold a mirror to you, to get you to go inside of yourself and see where these patterns need to change. And it's going to come up as you kind of like almost like turning against yourself. It's like, it feels like, that depiction where it's like the angels on one shoulder and the devils on the other shoulder. Like that's how that energy is going to feel. It's going to feel like this pull back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But on a deeper level, this is trying to get you to go inside and get to the root and really understand why you feel this battle, why you're having this war between yourself. And we have the Hermit card here, so major arcana here. So this is like, this is divine energy coming in. This is divine intervention. This is something, and if you're familiar, major arcana cards their energy is something that you can't change. It's kind of like divine energy and divine guidance coming in and trying to mold you and help you along in your growth process. Whereas the minor arcana, which you have the different suits in tarot, are things that energy you can kind of shift and mold and make choices because we have free will. But major arcana tends to be like the overheading energy, essentially, if it comes up in your reading. So we have the Hermit. And the Hermit is always, for me, about the need to go inside, to go in the darkness and shine light or shed light on something that you haven't been able to see. It's a very like a cold energy. It's a very cold energy, but it's also an awakening energy. And that's what I feel like the overall theme this month for Virgos is that Virgos are going through an awakening. And this awakening is going to be quite a shift, and it's going to be quite a shock for Virgos. So this is going to create some instability for Virgos who are used to kind of being a little bit control freaks, sometimes, and liking things to be in a certain order, in a particular way. I'm almost hesitant to say like an OCD, like kind of level way, but, if you know a Virgo, you can understand like that type of energy. It's not about it being good or bad. It's just, we're talking about energy here. So, so I feel like Virgos are going inside to figure out, why is this conflict here? Why am I having this struggle? Why am I having this inner battle? So you go inside of yourself, stop hiding, and it's time to go inside and take a look and figure out what's going on here. What am I not seeing? And, so now we have the Five of Cups here, where it's like now we have the Hermit's inside of himself. He's kind of in this shadow world. He's down in the underworld, and he's trying to figure out what's here. And you have all of these cups that are turned over and they're empty, and the energy feels just very like, there's like despair. Like, I'm not happy. I'm not satisfied. I'm not satisfied with what I have in my life. It's like when I take a closer look, I may not be satisfied with my relationships. The job that I have, even though it may pay the bills, it's not my calling. Like, I don't feel emotionally or from a heart level connected to it. The life that I have, the life that I built, may actually make me feel very empty. There's all these things because, and this could be different for every Virgo, but it's like going and looking and being able to see all these different components, whether it's relationships with others, whether it's your job. Like, I feel like Five of Cups is like, it's time to look at where you do not feel fulfilled in your life, where there is emptiness. And this is Virgos going in and finding these spaces and seeing, exactly what is missing in their lives. And remember, even though these cups are turned over, the turned over cups, there's water spilling out of it because you know what? The water that was in these cups needed to be spilled out because we no longer needed those things. They were patterns, cycles, situations, relationships that were probably making us feel this way, that we allowed to continue to be in our space, or that we may have not healed from. So now, we can gather up these cups, and then we can determine, what do we want to fill these cups with now? And I think that's how you have to look at the Five of Cups. Even though it seems dim and it's gloomy and it may very well feel that way, it's all about perspective here for Virgos. It's all about making a conscious choice, because remember, we always have free will. We can choose to continue to be in the Five of Cups energy, feeling like, you really don't have anything, or feeling empty, or, feeling in despair. And, you can feel that mood and people can feel that air around you. Or you can just say, hey, I'm going to let go of what wants to go. I recognize these patterns and where I need to grow and where I need to shift. And I also recognize this is an opportunity for me to create the life that I want to create. So let me gather up these 5 cups that are now empty. And now let me connect with myself to see what is really going to bring me fulfillment. What am I really going to fill these cups with now? So main energy here, is like, this is the divine coming in, like, and just, I feel like this energy in December is shaking Virgos up. It's like lightning, being struck by lightning. It's like time to wake up and time to see what's going on here. And it's time to move. This is a complete paradigm shift. Total 11-11 energies here. But, all the stuff that's being shifted here is to bring you on the other side of the portal, on the other side of the gateway. I feel like for Virgos, this can also bring up a lot of fears and phobias. Like I said, Virgos like order. Virgos are very disciplined, and don't get me wrong, this is not bad, because I know plenty of Virgos, like, they're so disciplined, like they keep their home very clean, very orderly. They're very, really, really exceptional at budgeting, like very, very responsible people. But I feel like there's a level where there's so much attention paid to this that it can kind of become like a phobia. So and there's a lot of fears and phobias when things are out of sorts and things are out of control with Virgos. And I feel like this is exactly what this is going to trigger. And Virgos are going to have to overcome this. They're going to have to face the fears. They're going to have to face the phobias and look at them as an opportunity to grow and an opportunity to realize that we can't control everything, that what wants to go needs to go. We have to be able to release that and allow ourselves to be in the divine flow. And we have trust and faith here. Past life energies. Phobias is past life energies as well. So this is energy that's been carried with us in past situations and even past lifetimes for some Virgos. And in this situation, regardless of what things may look like and how shooken up and taken apart, like I'm seeing like a whole puzzle, like a 200-piece puzzle. And then like all of a sudden, all the pieces start getting taken apart, or someone knocks the puzzle off of the table. And that's kind of how I feel like this energy for Virgos. And it's like, understand that it's being broken apart like that. So what gets put back together is even more beautiful and more in order with your authentic self. And this is just growth. These are cycles here, cycles that we have to go through. It is divine order. This was kind of, this is like a karmic cycle. And it was meant to shift like this. And don't view karma, because I think a lot of people view karma as, I did something bad, so I'm getting, this bad energy back. Karmic cycles are not always like a negatively aspect. It's just a shift and change, like a shift, or like I said, a paradigm shift for us to kind of level up and to step into, our highest self, our highest mastery, and our spiritual maturity. So this is kind of like this process that you're going through. It's just to kind of bump you up, to bump you up in that space. And you have to trust, regardless of what this looks like, regardless of how fearful you may feel in this energy, you have to trust and have faith that this is just part of the flow and part of the order and what you need to go through in order to level up in your life and grow. And, and then, coming out of the other side of this, we have the King of Wands. Then we have Asia, which is from the Past Life Oracle. And then we have the Arrow Master. So I kind of have those together because I feel like they are kind of playing together. Like the King of Wands is kind of like, okay, I feel like the energy here is transmuted. You've gone in, you've done this work, you've faced this, you've allowed this energy to kind of just shift and transform you. And now, you're coming out on top. You're like the king, and you're taking this energy, because wands are very like, they're active, it's creative, it's life force energy. And you're like, now I'm jumping out of here, and I, with this light, because you've brought in more light by clearing out the kind of, darker energy that you didn't need. Now you have this new energy to work with. And I feel like this is like the King of Wands. It's like, on the scene with this light. So now what is Virgo going to create? I feel like this is definitely an awakening with the Asia card. A lot of Asian cultures, we see a lot of like, Buddhism, Taoism, a lot of, spirituality beliefs that are focused on enlightenment and the enlightenment process. And I feel this is exactly what it is. I feel like this is Virgo stepping into their personal power, understanding how to use that energy to cultivate what they want to create in their lives. And there's a lot of joy, and there's a lot of peace, and there's liberation and nirvana that comes along with enlightening and enlightenment. And when you understand that, and when you're in your power, very solar plexus energy here on this other side of this for Virgo, when you're more empowered, when you are cultivating more of your own energy, and you understand that, and it's coming from a place of the heart and a place of authenticity, then you're able to reach whatever goal you want to. We have the Arrow Master. You're able to hit the mark for any target that you want to. So I feel like for Virgos, this is a building. This is a building of a new self, really. So again, as for many signs, it's like, what is it that you want to create here? This is about creating new goals. This could be, if you're single, for example, like being able to cultivate the type of partner, calling the type of partner that you're looking for, because you're more connected with yourself and your own authenticity, so that this, what you want to call in becomes more clear. I feel like there's a lot of clarity that's on the other side of this for Virgos. And, I feel like this is also going to start to teach you how to manifest the things that you want. So, I feel like it's important also, as Virgos are working through this energy. Again, I get it's very, it's going to be very intense. Definitely take care of yourself during this time, but also stay focused on what you want, not what you don't want in this, because it's very easy in this type of energy to get caught up in like the fear-based mindset and the fear agenda, because you're being triggered. But you have to be detached from this in a sense. Even though you're working through this energy, you can't continue to become that energy, because what you're doing here is you're trying to release it and you're cultivating something new. So the focus has to also be on what is it that I'm cultivating. And when you are clear about that, you have to call that energy in as it's already happened, because that's what's going to enable you to be able to focus on what you want, and you're going to be able to cultivate it because you're visualizing it, you're clear on what you want. Your mind, your mental is aligned with that thinking, and what you're speaking, which is sound, because sound creates, is all in alignment. That's Trinity energy there still. When that's all in alignment, then you're able to hit your mark, because remember, the universe always says yes to us. So if we're always saying, I wish, I wish, I wish, the universe is going to continue to give you things that you're always going to be wishing for, because that's what you called in, wishing. So that's why it's important when we're manifesting, we have to focus on that energy as if it's already here. It's already present in our lives. So that's what I'm feeling. I feel like on the other side of this, for Virgos, it's like, what is it that you want to manifest in your lives? After you clear this energy out, and it doesn't mean wait till this energy is cleared out. It's like working simultaneously together as you start to clear bits and pieces of what, is being released, like what's, emptying out from these 5 of Cups that you really didn't need anymore. So you needed to clear it out of your energy field. You're also, this is detachment, being detached from that. You know what I mean? It's like kind of being an observer, I feel like, for Virgos, being an observer of what's going on with a kind of sense of detachment, but at the same time also calling in what you want to cultivate. And I feel like that's going to bring a lot of inner peace. It's going to bring a lot of enlightenment and awakening energy for Virgos. And it's going to be very, very healing. So hopefully that resonated with you guys. And again, this is a general reading for Virgos. And this again is for Virgo Sun, Virgo Moon, and Virgo Rising. So if you know your moon sign or your rising sign, be sure to check out the other videos so that way you can bring a better picture together of kind of the energies that are going on. And if you would like a personal reading tailored to your specific situation, again, you can email me at intheroughcrystals@gmail.com. So hopefully you guys enjoyed your reading, and happy holidays, guys. Many blessings, and I will see you guys in 2018.